Just talk about the revisions and what you presented and the changes that you made.
Sure. We've been back before this commission on a number of occasions where they've asked us to look at our plans and try to maximize the number of seats we have inside the facility and try to maximize the fan experience. So in other words, how do we make a comfortable environment for the fan where they can get table service, they can lay out a program and be able to watch and have views of the racetrack. So what you saw presented today was the maximum number of seats we think we can get in the facility in an enclosed space, and then future expansion plans should the market warrant that. We hope that this is a compromise that the Commission will be willing to consider and hopefully, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but hopefully approve next week.
The concern in there, it seemed, what may happen at Beulah Downs, in your minds, is directly tied to what does or does not happen in Austintown. Is that fair assessment?
We see the two as interwoven. So in other words, this is all about the relocation of Beulah Park to the Mahoning Valley. So the question of what can be done at Beulah Park, the racing that can be done by River Downs at Beulah Park, really is, in our minds, inextricably intertwined with the overall question of the relocation of the racetrack.
Is this yet another hurdle in all of this? It seems as if, and I've heard some suggest there are arbitrary, to use the word I've heard, demands put on this. Is this yet another demand in the process?
We don't see it as another hurdle. We think we're there in terms of the agreements necessary for River Downs to have their meet at Beulah. The one piece that's missing is the overall approval of our relocation plans. Hopefully with the compromise we've offered today, those can be approved, and then the domino pieces all fall into place. We get the shovels back in the ground, we get our construction crews, nearly 1,000 construction workers waiting to get back on the site underway, and then we get the River Downs meet approved. And we're really hopeful that can all be wrapped up at the next commission meeting next week.
Which was what you were hoping a week ago.
True, it's been a long process, and as Mr. Snyder explained, it has been eye-opening to understand the approval process for some of the other tracks. Some of that has helped guide the compromise process that you saw unfold today, and hopefully, based on the criteria that they approved last time for Miami, that same criteria will be applied to us, and we'll get our approval.
How many seats at opening as proposed right now, and then how many future potential?
So right now it's over 500, around 513 seats at Mahoning
Indoor
Valley.
seats with track views.
Indoor seats with track views, with table service, the kitchen right there, really preserving that fan experience as I talked about before. Roughly another 488, if my math is right, that would come in the next phase, getting us to 1,001 seats. And then there are additional plans for expansion should the market warrant it. And, this has all been about our experience as the nation's largest owner of pari-mutuel wagering facilities in the country, largest owner of racetracks out there. We know what we think the market can support here. We've had a difference of opinion with the Commission. If we're wrong, and we hope we are wrong, we hope fans will turn out in record volumes, that's when we would trigger the additional phased expansion, and we're committing to investing those dollars should the market be there for it.
It sounded like an ultimatum, either play ball with us here on Austintown or we're ready to go forward with the VLT facility at Beulah Park. Is that what I heard?
Well, the question was, what do you plan to do if ultimately we are rejected with our relocation plans? And as a public company, we have a fiduciary responsibility to our shareholders. We're not in a position to say, we're just going to shut this down. We're going to have to take the alternative look at what we could do at the existing facility. That is not a plan that we're hoping will occur. That's not a position we want to be in. We wouldn't be here today to say we're committed to spending $75 million to relocate this, $50 million to license this, and another $125 million if that was an alternative that we wanted to pursue. We're spending roughly $500 million to make this work.
Okay, if this is approved next week, when can you put shovels in the ground and get people back to work?
Honestly, we can give the green light immediately. Then it's just a question of how fast our construction company can get the bodies back out there on the site.